All right, so working on the tension. So first things first is I needed to make sure that the bobbin was doing good. So the way the tension should work on this is if I hold it, I should be able to shake it and it should move a little, not like that, but it shouldn't completely drop, which you can see is the case here. So I'm fairly confident that I have the tension on the bobbin right, or at least close to. So we will do a little test and see what we get from there. Okay, pull up a loop. I do expect to have to adjust the top tension as well, but in which way? This is how we find out. So let's see what happens. Well, that's loads better than where we were, isn't it? I think it is a little tight in the top. So if we swing this just a little, and we'll try again. Yeah, I don't know if you can see very well, but you can kind of see where the bottom is pulling up through a little bit too much, and it's puckering us a little bit. So I think that means that the top is a little too tight. So this is the tension discs here, and it follows the usual rule of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I rotated just a little bit counterclockwise to loosen this up a bit. So let's see what that gets us. That's interesting. All right, so my bobbin broke partway through. And now I've got almost the opposite. So let's rotate that a little and check on my bobbin. I also suspect that when I wound this bobbin, it might have wound too loosely. Because when I look at the bobbin itself, it doesn't look entirely consistent in how tightly it's wound. There. So you can kind of see how it's sort of loose and it kind of moves and stuff. So I can't help but wonder if that's part of the issue that I'm having. And I think that this probably comes from there not being enough tension here. So, you know, if it was wound up for bobbin winding, if I just kind of held it and gave it a little bit more tension, it would probably wind a little bit more nicely. But let's go ahead and put this back in. So when you load the bobbin into the shuttle, without dropping it, all right, you want to make sure that the thread is going from left to right, and then put your bobbin in that way. It comes down, and then you have to kind of pull hard on it to make it come back up. And it's like, I can do this off of camera, but the moment I try to actually show how to do it, it does not at all want to play ball. Come on now. Nope. Come on. Why? All right, I didn't want to make you guys wait a million years for me to get that figured out. Okay, so we are properly installed as far as thread goes, and we'll put this back in. Pull up another loop. No going backwards, please. All right, let's try that second test again because my thread broke the first time, so we will give this another try. So, and here's the thing is, like, I don't know how sensitive this is. Like, I only changed it like a little bit. So we might not, with the proper test anyway, we might not see much of a change. Or maybe we'll see a lot of a change. I'm not sure. We will find out. All right, let's try this again. That's not look good. All right, come on out of there. Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a bobbin issue. Yeah. So it's like it was tight through here and then it loosened up way too much here and caused this problem. So it's a little bit of a puzzle. I wonder if I ought to rewind it. Let's try that. Fortunately, I have several bobbins for this machine, so we will load up another. And this time, hopefully, I will manage to get the tension right. So, empty bobbin. We're doing this, and I'm not going to put nearly as much thread on this one as I did the last one, because, you know, if I don't get to use the last one, I'm going to be hand sewing off of it for like forever because of how full it is. All right. Bobbin. Bobbin. Way out. Goes through here and down here. And I'm just going to do a thing that I do with my regular machine, which is just kind of put a finger on top to try and create a little tension. For me, on my regular machine, I do that just so that the thing doesn't just fly off the top, which it seems to want to do if I don't. So, but I'll do the same thing here to hopefully create a little bit more tension and get this to wind a bit more consistently. So let's see what happens. Oh, get my foot situated. Okay for now. I can always wind more, right? Right. So look at that. That is a whole lot less loose and functified looking. I think that's better. This back up here. Rethread the machine. So here, around the tension discs. A little bit more here. So tension discs through the spring here, through the armhole and the thread guide. Guess you couldn't really see all of this last time, huh? So armhole, thread guide, this here little guide, and then we thread the needle from left to right. And you know what? So I learned that it is so tiny, the hole in this machine. I do not have an issue threading my other machines by hand. I can see them just fine, but this one is so stinking tiny. And you know, it doesn't actually face me either, right? Like, my other machines thread from front to back. I mean, heck, one of them has an automatic threader, which I only recently learned how to use and did it the hard way for the longest time. But this one I actually find a good use for one of these for it, which I almost never use those things. All right, so machine threaded, put the bobbin back in the shuttle, and we'll see if it wants to be a butt right now. So thread left to right. There. Please do it. Ah ha ha, there, do you see? And then we gotta pull it straight up so it snaps through here. Go, there it goes. Aha, see? I did it. I did it. All right, okay, so back in the machine. Pull up a loop. Nope. Scratch myself with the scissors. All right. And now, let's try this dance again. Double checking I didn't miss anything. Nope. Okay. Let's see. Feels good. Does not look terrible. Looks okay from the top. Come on. All right. Wow. All right, so here's what we got. So I did this little spiral here because apparently, you know, turning corners will tell you a little bit about the tension. They're not quite sharp here, so that means something is still a little too tight, and I think it's maybe the top, because you can see how this looks very dashed rather than solid. It's the top is tight and it's pulling that bottom thread up. But I'm close. Check that out. So let's loosen this just a little and we'll try again. Again, I'm not entirely sure how sensitive this is. Maybe this does the trick. Maybe you don't. Really feel the tension in the bobbin when I pull like that. All right, so that doesn't do us changed much. So let's give it a big twist. You know, I hope I'm interpreting things right. I always have a question about it in my brain. Yeah, it's still a little bit off. I still think it's the top thread because the bottom is coming through so much. So let's give it a few twists and see what happens. Like I gave it a good few twists. So all right, I feel like we're getting closer. This one looks very much like it's pulling the bottom up a lot. This one seems to be doing it less. Still looks about the same on the back side. So let's twist it a little more. Let's see what happens. This is really, honestly, I think the only way to do it right is a bunch of trial and error. Okay, well, I think like if you compare, say, like that one with one of these, it definitely looks better. And the back doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, I could certainly sew on it as it is, I think. And since we redid the bobbin, I feel like I'm getting a lot more consistent results. So now I know that that's part of the issue, or was part of the issue that I was having. But yeah, I think this makes it officially usable, like not just functional, but actually viable for use now. I could actually sew something with stitches that look like this. I would be okay with this. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? What do y'all think? I am excited. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make on it first, but the fact that I managed to get this far is pretty astounding to me, being brand new to all of this and everything. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed my video, and I hope y'all have a good day. Later.